Beautiful people, welcome back to Matchday Live with me, Cel Spellman. She's Electric by Oasis is playing here in the stadium, and what an electric first half that was indeed. The current score is Manchester City 2, Liverpool 1. A big second half to come, but before that, I'm going to get the thoughts of our guests today, the legends that are David James and Shaun Jota. David, it's been billed as one of the biggest games in world football this year. It certainly lived up to the hype, didn't it?
Wow. What a 45 minutes. I mean, I have to say, Cal, I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been slow, boring, waiting for, I don't know, second half for something to happen. But what did it take? 3 minutes? Was it the goal? I mean, wow.
Insane.
It's been end-to-end, some fantastic skills, goals disallowed, bookings. I mean, we've had 90 minutes worth of football in 45 minutes then.
That's a great way to summarise it. Shaun, have you enjoyed what you've seen so far?
I certainly have. I mean, the levels of both teams, the quality. City have been suffocating a lot of that first half, and then on the break you get Liverpool that'll make a couple chances or hit some lone balls with the quality, and you just think, whoa, he's in here. And this is why the game is so on edge, because City are moving the ball, shifting, creating these chances, but Liverpool can also create these opportunities, 2 or 3 passes, and then they're finding their players in. It's been really end-to-end stuff.
It really, really has. Well, let's take a look at a few of the key moments of the game, of course, being the goals. And as you said, David, it hadn't even been 10 minutes, and Kevin De Bruyne had put the ball in the back of the net with a slight deflection. But what a way to start the first half.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was the opening before that, wasn't there, for Raheem Sterling, a massive save from Alisson. What was interesting, there was a foul. When the foul was given, Liverpool switched off.
Yes.
And it was taken quickly. He goes out wide. Kevin De Bruyne picks it up. You know he's going to shoot. But then he's taken a wicked deflection off Joel Matip. Nothing Alisson could do. And even then, just to add to the suspense, he's hit the post. It's one of those things. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm not jumping about. It's not because I don't want to rejoice. It's just I write down notes on all the games. So
I can say I've seen David's notebook, and he's full of notes indeed. Great reaction there from us here in Matchday Live. I think there's some reaction as well from Bangalore. But I guess that's kind of it though as well, David. And it was mentioned before, because of the quality of the players and because of the quality of the managers, the moments and laps of concentration are kind of what's going to define the game.
It's amazing is when you're playing against a lesser team, you can make mistakes and get away with it. This game has shown us in 45 minutes, every mistake is being pounced upon. I talked about the Chelsea game. I'm seeing at times City do what they did to Chelsea. Any indecision, they'll jump on it. But on the flip side, like Shaun said, Liverpool have shown that they can go and score a goal. Well, and it was a bad header for I can't remember who headed it. It was like a defensively controlled header, which Liverpool took advantage of, get it down the right hand side for the goal. And all of a sudden, wow.
Yeah, well then we're on to that equaliser, Shaun. It did seem to kind of come, maybe not a slight mistake I'd say from City, but Jota, of course, as we know, we singled him out. He's been scoring goals all season, and he did the same again, didn't he, for that equaliser? Could City have done better, do you think, to defend that?
Sometimes you got to say it's a good goal. You know, we know that the left back is forgotten his name for the moment, but he's delivered a quality ball far post. Instead, just come back. And you're thinking you either got to stop it at source with that delivery, because this is what Liverpool do. They have that great delivery, but as it's come back, well, he's there to finish it. He's there. I think it was Henderson at first has a strike, comes back, and then he's there finishing. It ends up being a good goal because you know Liverpool with their quality, if they're able to deliver, have the time in the ball, deliver it. And we're not able to win that ball in the far post, that is trouble.
Yeah, and that's happened a few times, as you said. I think that's one of the hardest goal balls to defend, is from the byline back across goal, which is kind of where it came from. But then it kind of seemed to reignite City, David, and there was chances for Stones. De Bruyne rolled one past the post, and then we got the goal, and it absolutely erupted here in the Etihad, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I was thinking when I was watching the game, because I don't like early goals. I think early, especially very early goals, because no one's in a rhythm. I think that was a sense that we had. The crowd were buzzing at 1-0. then all of a sudden Liverpool score. There was a lull.
Yes.
But it didn't last long. Then all of a sudden City start doing their thing, the fans get behind them, and then the goal itself, again, superb. Shaun's saying about the line, I'm glad, I mean, we had the chances with the free kick going in behind the line. Yeah, City, and this is the thing with City, they can hurt teams just by controlling the game,
yes,
frustrating the opposition, and then, like you say, with the second goal, the place started rocking again. I don't know how many blue flares are left in the stand there, but
I'm going to But on that goal, see, Liverpool, I've watched them enough in terms of seeing them on set pieces. They drop when the ball's being delivered. And that's why so many teams get caught offside. And before it's taken, I'm saying to James, I'm saying, finally a team that's got runners that are coming from deep. So they come from deep, but the goal itself happens in regular play. He gets the ball, and they're sort of coming out, and it's a deep run that catches them.
Yeah.
There's a deep run that catches them. All right, there's a deep run that catches them. And then it comes back across. It's brilliant play because tactically, City was switched on to how Liverpool come out.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, David. There was a.
It wasn't a moment.
Edison sometimes makes us our heartbeat a bit fast. That's the closest I've come to see him do it. I mean, was he as cool as a cucumber?
I tell you what, he was cool. The only, if I can give you a comparison when I played, there was a shot came in, it spilled, he was running towards the line, and I just casually went back, scooped it off the line. He was cool as cucumber. I think he was going for a different pass, and that's why I let the ball run. But you know, just added a little bit of excitement. Yeah. Sorry, Shaun has got some fans just across the way there. Cheering his name. Your fans.
It definitely kept us on our toes. And Shaun, I wondered, what is it tactically that's happening? Because it does seem that we're getting the ball in behind them, especially on the left-hand side with Phil Foden, quite a few times, and it looks fairly easy at moments.
Well, it looks easy because I said Liverpool are brilliant at the press, and Liverpool want to press. City have controlled the game in such a way, they've almost lulled Liverpool, certainly in the middle part of the field. They've lulled them to a place where they can press. But they're moving the ball, and then when it's on, you're seeing Walker look to get in, Foden on the other side, and those big diagonals. And I thought it would be a key point in the game, because if you're trying to play out all the time, Liverpool are so great at it, they'll win it. And City have went, you know what? Sometimes it's not about trying to play through, it's just hitting that diagonal, and you can break that press.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it wasn't brought up, but I was curious to what the team lineup was going to be for Liverpool. I don't think this is their strongest midfield. And whether it's because they're not in the best of form, or whether it's just they could have different personnel, but I don't think they can handle the pressing game against City. And this is why City are getting in, because City have got time in midfield to play the ball over.
Yes.
A stronger, and maybe Klopp will change something at half time, because a stronger midfield for Liverpool would stop City having time to play. It becomes more of a rush thing,
yes,
and then Liverpool are sort of set for it. There's so much advantage being that ball over the top.
Yeah, it's kind of playing into our hands a little bit. Obviously, we've got another 45 minutes to go, Shaun. What do you want to see from City, and how do we make sure that we kind of keep the score away, or even get a few more and secure the 3 points?
I think control is the key part for City. And when I say control, sometimes because the crowd, the emotions, I mean, we're getting ballistic up here, the emotions, I think the players have to stay calm and control the game. What I mean is move the ball from right to left to right, and lull Liverpool into a sense of, if one player makes the wrong move, then it's a change of pace.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key part to the second half, rather than we get it, go and attack, lose it, and then Liverpool will get into the game a lot more.
Yeah, and I guess as well, if we're going to look at our opposition, we know Liverpool are going to come out now and really come at us, because they need the win just as much as we do. Can you see them changing things at all, David, or do you think they'll change their approach in this second half?
Yeah, I think it's an approach thing. I mean, if I just say from a City perspective,
yeah,
I think Raheem has to come off or play in a different position. I mean, the thing is, we've got success with Foden down the side. You could get the same success with I would say with Raheem, the only thing is that Foden seems to be doing a lot of defending at times, even in what looks like a back five.
Yeah.
If there's a personnel change, I think you'd put Foden in the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe put Jack Grealish on. Alternatively, bring Mahrez on.
Yeah.
Put Jesus in the middle.
Yeah, interesting.
I just think that it would feel a little bit more balanced, and I'm saying that with all the chances that are created.
Yeah.
But I just think that to actually go and win the game, there might need to be change. From a Liverpool perspective, as I say, they've got to control our midfield, which is, I think, something that most of the Premier League, if not the whole of Europe, have had trouble trying to do. So good luck with that.
But did you want to add to that, Shaun, as well?
I'd say it's interesting he's saying about making changes in regards to Sterling and Mahrez coming on. Such as the level of the players that come on, we don't even think that the level drops because they're so consistent and coming on and doing a great job. I wouldn't necessarily say Sterling come off. I would actually throw him on the left and say, go deal with Trent.
Interesting.
Go deal with Trent on that right-hand side, make him defend you, because you tend to have the beaten up him when he's playing against him. And have Phil Foden play central.
Yeah.
I think Phil is brilliant coming in the pockets, commit someone like Van Dijk out, and then be able to thread balls for other runners. And I think that could be something interesting if we did something like that.
Yeah, fantastic. And actually, speaking of Foden, we've been asking you to send in your questions on WhatsApp. Remember, you just send us a WhatsApp, and you're going to go into the draw for, of course, that book that we've got coming out, which is a decade of Manchester City, the last 10 years that we've all enjoyed so very much. But this one came in. It says, question for the boys. It says, have you ever seen a young English player as good as Foden is now? And that is Alan from the Singing the Blues TV.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going back to the beginning of my career and around that time, obviously Michael Owen and the likes of Robbie Fowler are exceptional. But I'm a Phil Foden fan. I think I've just stopped short of having a Phil Foden tattoo. So your question's right. This lad is superb.
Yeah,
world class.
As Sergio Aguero would say, different gravy, Shaun, isn't it?
Different gravy, I'm telling you. Hey, with a portion of chips, it's different gravy. But Owen is somebody that will come to mind. He was a goal scorer, young, electric. Phil Foden is that player that excites you because, again, he's a player that scores goals, creates goals, great runs, can play out wide, can play false nine, play up top, but doesn't essentially play as a target man, becomes a false nine and can play on either side. So he's an exciting in that way. Wherever you play him, you just think, this kid knows the game, it's exciting to watch. But I would say Owen, because as somebody that you think of in terms of a young player. Yeah. But he was a striker who got fed.
But Phil loves the game. You see every time he's on the pitch. And the goal that was disallowed for offside, he finished it like he was kicking around in his back garden.
I guess that's part of it, though, and that seems to be a theme with Phil. And I've read it in a few interviews. I think Kyle Walker was saying it this week, that he does just play like he's playing with his mates on the field. And how does that enhance his game when he has that approach, David?
So as a player, Shaun, you know this as well, and when you fluctuate. Phil Foden's young, he hasn't had a long career yet, and I'm sure he will experience at some point. But sometimes if you go into a game not feeling confident, you stop doing what comes naturally. Yeah. Now, what he looks like pretty much every time I see him, is a lad that goes out and says, I'm doing the best thing in the world, playing football, and he happens to be pretty good at it. So, there's little touches when he brings the ball down, knocks it around people, does a little flick-flack, and you look at it and it's enjoyable to watch. And I just wish, and I think any Man City fan who saw me up top against Middlesbrough wished that I had half what he had in his weak foot.
Just a little bit, just all we wanted.
Well, listen, we can see there our boys in blue after a brilliant first 45 minutes. There have been some Liverpool players warming up on the pitch behind us, so there may be a sub for them, who knows. But come join us at full time, and fingers crossed we'll be talking about a Manchester City win, but 45 minutes to go, a big second half to come. Alistair Mann has got your commentary, and we'll be back at full time. Thank you for watching, and the final thing for me to say is, come on City!
Thanks, Kel. Well, it's probably worth mentioning that there's only one team in the country who have won all 23 games in which they've led this season, and they are City. And at the moment, they're in front in this 24th match against Liverpool.